Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood, and I really appreciate you joining me. Oh, man. Listen to this. Keystone Pipeline shut down after spilling 5,000 barrels of oil in South Dakota. Now, Keystone Pipeline is a different pipeline than the Dakota Access Pipeline, but the Dakota Access Pipeline, they were protesting this because they knew shit like this was going to happen. And this is what's going, 5,000 gallons. And as we're about to have Thanksgiving here in the United States, remember last Thanksgiving, the cops were tormenting people, water cannons, shooting rubber bullets, dogs, guns, and all this was happening on Army Corps land while President Obama, it was funny, it was after the election and people were like, oh, this is Trump's America. And I was like, wait a minute now. That's still Obama's America last year. Obama did very little about the Dakota Access Pipeline. It was going to go through Bismarck. The predominantly white community said, nah, we don't want it. So then it went through the Standing Rock Reservation, and people started protesting it. Oh, well, white people protest it, we'll move it. Brown people, Native Americans protest it, to hell with them. And they used the worst tactics. I couldn't believe that last year. As we get ready for, celebrate Thanksgiving, which, just as a get friends and family together and celebrate what you're thankful for and have a nice meal, that's a cool thing. But the history of it's pretty awful. History of Thanksgiving is pretty awful. And and then of course the Redskins are playing on Thanksgiving, which is an offensive name. It is an offensive name. It's an offensive mascot. It's another reason to not watch the NFL. But I want to go into what happened in Keystone Pipeline because we've been talking a lot about this. I've done stories that were submitted by Patreon backer Tim Stack about they're trying to frack and put pipelines in Colorado. I've talked about a pipeline going across Pennsylvania, and this is why you guys need to pay attention because this can happen to you. If you don't live in South Dakota, this could happen to you if you allow a pipeline through there. So it was on the article that I'm talking. It's all over the place. I'm using the article from thehill.com. It's in my show notes below. It was written by Devin Henry, and it came out yesterday on Thursday, November 16th. And I'll just give you the stats here, then we'll go into more bullshit about why these assholes need to be shut down. The Keystone Oil Pipeline spilled more than 5,000 barrels of oil on Thursday before workers took it offline, a large spill that comes days before operators hope to secure a key permit for a sister project. That should be voted down. A TransCanada crew shut down the Keystone Pipeline at 6 a.m. Thursday morning after detecting an oil leak along the line. The company said in a statement the leak was detected along a stretch of pipeline about 35 miles south of a pumping station in Marshall County, South Dakota. TransCanada estimates the pipeline leaked 5,000 barrels of oil, or about 210,000 gallons, before going offline. 210,000 gallons. Wow, they really, and they're always telling everybody how safe and secure the pipelines are. And these dicks at TransCanada, they factor in, we'll have a certain percentage of spillage and leakage. We'll just factor that in. It doesn't matter if it makes people's drinking water horrible. And it was funny, I remember early in the year, like January, I did an article about Justin Trudeau. And I was like, oh, he seems like a decent guy. And all these Canadians like, no, he's not, Graham. No, he's not. He's a big oil guy. He's a big oil guy. And then I did more research and yeah, he's a big oil guy. I'm sure he has ties to TransCanada or has at least given them, whatever. Permits, they've paid him off, whatever. The company said it shut off the pipeline within 15 minutes of discovering the leak, and it's working with state regulators and the Pipelines and Hazardous Materials Safety Administration to assess the situation. It's PHMSA is the hazmat group or whatever. According to PHMSA, data gathered by environmental group Greenpeace in August, 3 pipeline operators have spilled more than 63,000 barrels of Canadian crude oil or refined produce in the United States since 2010. Awesome. It's great. Keystone Pipeline itself spilled an estimated 21,000 gallons of oil in 2011, 17,000 gallons in April of 16. Good Lord. Nebraska regulators are due to announce a permitting decision for the Keystone XL pipeline on Monday morning. So if you're in Nebraska, you have some time here. I would flood your representatives' emails and phones. I would flood them with the equivalent of 5,000 gallons of oil worth of complaints as to why you need to block this immediately. If you're a resident of Nebraska, and tell all your elected officials, if you don't block this, I will vote you out. Be that clear. Doesn't matter if you voted for them, whatever your affiliation is, tell them you will vote them out. We will vote you out. Because this is so offensive. This is exactly why everybody protested at Standing Rock. It's exactly why. This is dangerous. This is dangerous to every person. Do we really need to make water is life t-shirts? I applaud the people who made those shirts. I'm not criticizing them, obviously, but look how awful we are as a society that we need to remind people that water is life. We need to remind corporations and the politicians that they own that, hey guys, human beings need drinkable water to survive. Well, we don't have all the evidence in, and global warming, I'm not sure. Like, unreal, man. And every environmentalist, every person, this is a great time to say, I told you so. Don't back off from saying, I told you so. We need to jump all over these things. It makes me so mad. I just bought an electric car. I've been talking about buying one. I bought one, the Kia Soul EV. It's fantastic. It was a 2017. They were cutting the price of them because they're getting rid of them for the 2018s. It was a great deal. There's a federal tax break up to $7,500 that Trump is trying to get rid of. That's another reason I bought it now, because I don't want to pay this federal government any money. So if I can wipe out my tax liability by buying an electric car, I'm going to. Also, the state of California, the California Air Resource Board gives you, I'm told, $2,500 in cash if you sell a gas car and buy an electric car. Southern California Edison will give you $450 if you buy an electric car. You can get a carpool lane sticker and ride in the carpool lane with one person with an electric car. Certain cities allow you to park for free and all kind of benefits. Check your states to see what other benefits you can get. Because, and our electric cars, the cure-all, are they going to fix everything? No, there's a lot of issues with it, like there's a big battery. Where do those come from? What do we do with the batteries when they're done? All legitimate stuff, all legitimate stuff. But I just can't give money. The last gasoline I bought was on Monday. I bought $5 in gas to get my old car to the dealership. That was it. I'm done. I'm done with the oil companies. I'm done with this shit. So, back to the Nebraska thing that's going to happen Monday morning and why you need to protest, because this is what the project will do. 830,000 barrel per day project would bring crude oil from Alberta, Canada to Nebraska, where it would join existing pipelines that feed refineries elsewhere in the United States. President Trump in March signed a presidential permit allowing the company to build the pipeline, against which environmentalists have waged a years-long battle. Then President Barack Obama formally blocked the pipeline, Keystone, not Dakota, in 2015, but Trump revived it via executive order earlier this year, a move he often touts as one of the major achievements in his first year of office. Thanks. If you have oil spilling all over where you live in South Dakota, let your president know that he's a jackass. Let all of if you're in South Dakota, let all of everybody know that you are fed up with this and you don't want this anymore. And stop buying oil if you can. The Public Service Commission must take note. This is from the Sierra Club. There is no such thing as a safe tar sands pipeline, and the only way to protect Nebraska communities from more tar sand spills is to say no to Keystone XL. That's Kelly Martin, director of the Sierra Club's Beyond Dirty Fuels campaign. So that's what you guys got to do. Get loud. Get as loud as you possibly can. If you live in South Dakota, if you live in Nebraska, say no. If they're building any pipelines near your state, get involved and say no. And as I said, vote with your dollars. I still ride my bike a lot. I'm still taking public transportation, and I'm using my electric car when I'm not doing those things. So, I told you so, pipeline assholes. Thanks for supporting this show, you guys. Go to patreon.com/Graham Elwood. Like and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. Share these videos with people. And I welcome all of the new viewers that have come over from Humanist Report and the people that, when I did the report on the Jehovah's Witness. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm going to, excuse me, I'm going to stay on top of this as best I can. I hope you do too.